Today is November the 17th, 2012. And since we have a new president, I thought I'd reflect upon some of the videos that myself and Mr. John Robertson put together and addressing the issues in our community, because after all, I have been on the job since 1975 doing what I do for the good of our community, and so I want to share this with you at this moment. Once again, this from an earlier period in history when John Robertson and myself started to educate the people in this community. So we're working hard, as Roy C. would say. So let's just sit back and listen.
Working hard on the assembly line. Every day I'm working.
Once again, this is KBCI.blogspot.com with George Boston Rhymes and, of course, John Robertson behind the camera. On YouTube, Boston G.B.R. We are sitting here at Doc's house again. And, Doc, I wanted to really talk to you today, although I know you're going to be coming at me. But why did you want us to come out here this day to do this clip? Why did you do this today?
Well, to lead off into the next clip that you got coming up so that people can get a good understanding of the injections into that clip. When they go to reviewing the clip, they're going to see a lot of clips where it was edited,
yes,
and they can understand the things that you will be expressing and the way you will expressing, and that'll give them a glimpse of understanding of what those little snippets says.
Will be, okay. All right. Thank you very much. And you had something to ask me about the picture here? Or this?
Yeah.
By the way, this is your picture. Well, what made you do this picture?
Well, that was at the Lorraine Hotel. That was a drawing that I done. It's a pencil drawing that I done from Dr. Martin Luther King. That was the moment that he was assassinated. That was just a few moments before he was assassinated right there. And these guys there, and there was Jesse Jackson, who the other guy we said he was? Abernathy, and the other guy, the gentleman, was Jesse Jackson, and the other one is the musician.
Yes,
and I did that, but along those notes there, they were fighting civil rights fighters,
yes,
same as you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we get right back down to the basics of here in Lowndes County, and this clip that they got coming up, that you have coming up,
yes,
and showing the fight that we've been engaged in,
yes,
and our exclusion, and the way you were expressing yourself yesterday.
I don't mind working, baby. Not as long as you've been true. I don't mind. Putting all this on the time. Ooh, baby.
One of the things is, when you give your expressions, it's natural. Apparently, you know, you resigned from the military for how many years?
Oh, God, 20 or better.
20 or better years.
Yes, sir.
And
20 plus for sure.
and you put your life on the line for this country.
Yes, sir.
And being a black man, you know what it's like to have to go up and confront generals and people of power and to fight to stay within a system.
Yes, sir.
So you understand systematics.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just talk to us. Just talk to us.
Well, mainly, I would like for people to understand that, first of all, I appreciate John Robertson coming into my life. And I say that because I've been beat down so many times by so many civil rights organizations and leaders, and, you know, kind of pushed to the back because I seek humility. I've learned in this life, in the circles of civil rights, I got involved mostly in civil rights back in 1975 when Charles Demps, one over in Quitman, was shot by a police officer, and I walked the street trying to bring about change. And I found out that the Bible is correct, and God is correct, and Jesus is correct, is that a man's enemies would be those of his own household. And so this is what we're going to talk about on the next video that you see. We're going to go behind the veil, and I want you all to see how we intend to keep things in your face. We can't let our history be lost. Over in Brooks County, the Mary Turner lynchings and the police officer, Earl Evans, that was burned up in the police car over there. Nobody has been brought to justice. And when you stand up for that, which is right, of course, the Hannitys and the Rush Limbaughs are going to come after you. Simply because, in my most humble opinion, they know the power of Jesus, and we're going to talk about that later. But I want you to take this picture that Dr. Robinson have put together for us. And he has made a dent in history because this will always be among us in one form or another if it's nowhere but in the heads and minds of our children. This man, Dr. Martin Luther King, I believe was sent from God. I believe that he didn't have a choice about the life that he lived. I'm sure many times like myself, he said, I ain't going to talk about it no more. Many times like Jeremiah, I'm sure, Jeremiah said he wasn't going to talk about it no more, but the burning fire for truth and right was in him. The only thing Jeremiah could say, he tried to describe it so we could get a gist of what he was talking about. He said it was like fire shut up in his bones, and he couldn't do nothing but go on home so he can get started tomorrow on the same thing. Dr. King. I don't believe that Dr. King really wanted to do what he did. I think it was a burning sensation from the God that gave him that burning desire. Jesse Jackson was another man. Say what you want about Jesse Jackson and what he did in life, the negatives that he might have done or didn't do. But there's one thing about it. You can criticize Jesse, but Jesse didn't have 400 wives and 300 concubines or 1,000 women like some of the other holy men in the Bible. You know what I mean? So Jesse is my friend. Dr. King is my friend. I don't hate any of them. Even this fellow right here. He is my friend. I read something else about this brother here that was kind of negative, if you will, but I'm not going to mention that because I'm not into negativity today. My thing is to highlight this picture. Now, of course, if you remember this man here, this is, by the way, Ralph Abernathy, and he stood with Dr. King. But there's one thing about Ralph Abernathy that I think we need to understand, and that is this. Dr. King was not an ignorant man. If you remember in Dr. King's message, here's what he said, I quote, Ralph Abernathy, he said that Ralph Abernathy is the best friend that I have in the world. I'm going to repeat. That man was the best friend that Dr. King had in the world. Because that's what he said. Yes, I know the feeling of Dr. King when it comes down to that. Because after King died, you know what he did. He was the one that talked negative about Dr. King. That's not me. That's the historical archival record. He did it, and he can't deny it. But through all of that, don't down that man, because that was a good man. That man did what God had him to do. Now, I believe that. If he had not did what he did, God's word would be a lie. But David said, my own enemies are they that are of my own household. David said, the one who ate from my table, who supped with me and dined with me and drank with me is mine. And so it is. And there's some things in this life that we just have to accept. Don't be bitter, don't hate, but elevate. Yes, my brother.
Yes, and along those notes there, when ever since Dr. King was assassinated, I understand about my brother Jesse Jackson.
Yes, sir.
But not one time was he ever seen again with Miss Coretta Scott King until her death. And that makes me kind of puzzled, and I don't get the understanding of that, you know. But the main thing is the freedom fighters.
Yes, sir.
And just like what we're doing here today, right here in Lowndes County, and the role that you are playing,
yes,
and everything that you are doing, and like the clip that you're gonna be airing up,
yes, sir,
and where we're gonna be coming from,
yes, sir,
everybody need to understand that this is a national problem that we are facing.
yes, sir.
It's the same problem they're having in their communities. And it's a thing that we just can't be excluded from all the time. That's what we are included on the poverty level side, but we are excluded from the prosperity side.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Loan them notes there. What you feel, man?
Well, a lot of times, man, our story is not being told. And that's one of the greatest things that is causing our children to commit crime. They don't have the knowledge of self. And we're going to address that.